Yet another in the long line of Hollywood adaptations of successful video game franchises just about upon us. About a month away, Amazon drops the I was going to say much anticipated, but it's definitely something that people are paying attention to. The Fallout. They're going to have a Fallout series, which is kind of interesting. If you're going to be adapting a Bethesda game for a television series, normally you'd want to go with something that has a little bit more depth, a little bit more story behind it, but hey, maybe that's the reason that they're trying to just take the aesthetic and apply a story to it. But anyways, Amazon fans hail Fallout trailer as a dream come true ahead of the Prime Video series. And actually, to be quite frank with everyone, I've never been the biggest fan of Fallout. I'm not even the biggest fan of Bethesda games, but I'm aware of the iconography of the franchise. I understand. I had friends who played the hell out of 3. I played a little bit of 4, very little bit. I found it to be incredibly boring. I gave up on it really quickly, but the trailer doesn't look all that bad. Like, it obviously seems like they have a bunch of money behind this and Amazon wants this to be successful. I just got some problems, kind of traditional problems that we're seeing in Hollywood right now in this current iteration. And well, let's just say good-looking power armor is not going to mask from the underlying issues. Amazon has unveiled the official trailer for Fallout, the upcoming post-apocalyptic series based on the hit video game franchise. Cinematic footage, which maintains the game's expansive world building and signature dark humor, sees Vault Dweller Lucy Ella Purnell struggle to adapt to the twisted and dangerous world of the irradiated wasteland, and offers the first glimpse of a Moldover, and Majun. Sure. More than 3-minute long trailer. I'm not going to play all of it, but we'll play some of the show you some of the stills rather. There you see the power armor, and it actually looks pretty good in motion, if we're going to be completely honest. I'll turn down because I know that there's copyrighted music in this as well, but yeah, you got it moving. It doesn't look all that bad. You got the aesthetic of the obvious. You got the 1950s nuclear fallout aesthetic that's right there. So far, so good. Everything looks fine. The end of the world. It's an interesting premise, trying to figure out what goes on, and it's a story that you can tell if the show is successful for quite a long time, obviously. The official synopsis reads, taking place 200 years after the apocalypse, the gentle denizens of the luxury fallout shelters are forced to return to the irradiated hellscape their ancestors left behind, and are shocked to discover an incredibly complex, gleefully weird, and highly violent universe awaiting for them. Fallout stars Yellow Jackets Ella Purnell is Lucy, an optimistic vault dweller from Vault 33, and the show's protagonist, alongside the Hateful Eight's Walton Goggins as the ruthless bounty hunter known as the Ghoul. Other stars include Twin Peaks, Kyle MacLachlan, as Hank, overseer of Vault 33, Lucy's father, the Emancipations, Aaron Moten, and the Brotherhood of Steel Soldier, Maximus. Okay, cool. Series comes from Westworld creators Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy. Season of Westworld, amazing. The rest of them, well, who have partnered with Fallout video games publisher Bethesda Game Studios. Oh, that's fantastic. So, okay, cool. Todd Howard's going to be working closely with the story group, so that means that, hey, it might be good in spite of that, but you take a look at the people who are penning the scripts and you realize that, oh, this one's going to be dead on arrival too. Amazon's Fallout director says it would have been a fool's errand for series to try to appeal to the fans. Why would you say that? You're trying to adapt. The only reason that you're adapting Fallout is because it has such a built-in fan base, because you don't have to do any of the work of creating your own original IP, trying to build that from the ground up. No, you just want to leech off of something that's already popular. This is something that has been done ad nauseum to the detriment of Hollywood in the past decade, 2 decades. You being embarrassed of your source material, thinking that, oh, I don't know why so many people find this to be so engaging. We Hollywood types can do this so much better. So if we upset the core audience, well, we already had them come in and we can just tell them how terrible their stories are and why ours is so much better. We've seen this done with The Witcher. We're seeing this done again with Halo. How many comic book adaptations have been nothing like the source material? So this is just going to be another one of those. I don't think you really can set out to please the fans of anything when you have one of the most, beloved actors in Hollywood, and in a video that I went over recently as well with Henry Cavill, being adored by the fans for simply wanting to, adhere to the source material. And another reason why Sydney Sweeney, well, outside of the two obvious reasons that she's really popping off, is because she also wanted to do right by the character she was portraying in Madam Web. She went and she looked at who Julia Carpenter was, took note that most of her signature poses are done hanging from a web, hanging upside down. She liked the character, she wanted to bring it to the screen. Unfortunately, S.J. Clarkson's hack ass couldn't manifest that and make that happen. That's another reason why Sydney Sweeney has a lot of good faith from the audience. I'm obviously not going to discount the simp tendencies of 90% of the population, but hey man, I remember that stuff. But no, you can't please the fans of anything. Let's see if we're missing any context on this. As if the revelation of the multi-opening Iron Man-esque helmet to the supposedly radiation-proof power armor was not enough of a red flag for Amazon's upcoming live-action TV adaptation of the popular RPG franchise. Director Jonathan Nolan has admitted that the series was not made with the fans in mind. I wish he had his brother's adherence to source material. Like, imagine if Christopher Nolan came out ahead of Oppenheimer and said, yeah, it would be impossible to try to adhere to the whims and wiles of fans of history when we're trying to tell the story of Oppenheimer, because that would just simply be a fool's errand, or stick to the historical events. Oh my god. Nolan, who viewers may recognize as the creator of CBS's Person of Interest, HBO's Westworld, as well as the brother of Christian Bale-led Batman trilogy, Christopher Nolan, offered his insight into Fallout's direction during a recent press event held for the series. Recorded by UK-based consumer technology outlet T3, Nolan's appearance in the event saw him share his brief that trying to make the series in a way that would please longtime fans of the franchise was ultimately a futile effort. I don't think you really can set out to please the fans of anything, or please anyone other than yourself. Yeah, that's great, okay? Like, there are certain endeavors where you're probably aiming to try to please yourself, but when you're making a multi-million-dollar artistic endeavor like that, you're trying to create something for the fans. You're trying to make something for the audience. You're supposed to make something that is pleasing, engaging, evocative for the audience, but no, you're just making it for yourself. It's a very stupid opinion to hold. I think you have to come into this trying to make a show that you would want to make, and trusting that, with us being fans of the game, we would find the pieces that were essential to us and try to do the best version. We're fans of the games, but we're not trying to please the fans. Interesting. Sounds like there's a bit of a disconnect here. To this end, Nolan then attempted to assuage fans' fears regarding the series, for its source material by pulling his aforementioned fan credentials, asserting it started for me with Fallout 3, which a lot of people who were fans of the Fallout franchise despise Fallout 3 because you have the two original games, which nobody wants to talk about, which devoured about a year of my life. Unfortunately for Nolan, it should be noted that given Fallout 3 was the first game made by Bethesda rather than, yes, the original developers, Black Isle Studios, and the massive amount of division amongst fans I didn't even know that was in there, but yeah, no. I remember his attempt to establish his fan cred likely had the opposite effect. Because yeah, you had something with the Black Isle games, 1, 2, and there's another one, I forget the official plug line of it, but that actually had a good story that people remember and like. Meanwhile, outside of Fallout New Vegas, which wasn't even made by Bethesda, none of those games have memorable or even appreciated stories, but okay. I was an aspiring young writer at that point and almost derailed my entire career, recalled the director, so it's ludicrously playable and fun. Seriously, the games were just incredible. So yeah, that's something that gaming exclusively has the domain on. Even if the characters aren't that great, if it's fun to play, they're going to return to play it, and that's what ended up happening in the early stages of those Bethesda open-world sandbox games. There was so much stuff to do, and people got enthralled in all of that, but we'll see what he goes on to say. Such a rare and unbelievable thing that I've gotten to do twice in my career. I had to take something that you love and to get the chance to play in a universe to create your own version. Oh, great. The first go-round for me was Batman. Nolan helped pen all 3 entries of his brother's cinematic Caped Crusader trilogy. Though he was sadly left uncredited for Batman Begins. Well, the first 2 were great, and Rises is a film, and this time with Fallout, a series of games that I absolutely loved. Yeah, you only mentioned 3. You don't mention the one that has a good story. You don't mention 4. And what was your relationship with 76? I'm just wondering, man. I'm just wondering. Ultimately, pressed by the crowd as to whether or not, for all of his aversions to pleasing fans, he had at least produced a Fallout series that he was satisfied with, Nolan opined, "It's kind of a fool's errand to try to figure out how to make other people happy." Oh, fantastic. You gotta make yourself happy, and I've made myself very happy with the show. Well, that's good. I'm sure Amazon is going to be super happy that at least one person's looking forward to this when it ultimately drops. What is it? April 12th. Got a pretty decent cast behind it. It has a writer with some kind of legacy, but if you're looking at this strictly as an addition to the Fallout franchise, you might come home a little bit empty-handed, but maybe as a TV show, like I said, Jonathan Nolan's done some good stuff in the past, but is this going to be season 1 of Westworld? Is this going to be Person of Interest, Jonathan Nolan? Or is this going to be Cash a Paycheck seasons 2, 3, 4, 5 of Westworld? Time will tell, I guess. A couple of trailers look nice. Casting sure seems on point, but yeah, I guess only time will tell. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.